have an important question for you. Who told you that prioritizing yourself was not important? When did you start feeling guilty about making sure that you had time for yourself, that you were carving out time for yourself, carving out space for yourself? And when did you start believing that taking time for yourself would actually cause you to fall behind and not be able to be productive? Hmm. These are all the things that are going off sometimes in our minds and the conversations that we're having with ourselves when it comes to prioritizing ourselves, especially as high performing leaders. Are you having those conversations with yourself quietly, silently? Nobody knows it because you're showing up, you're giving, you're doing all the things, you are producing well, but silently you are feeling like, I really cannot afford to take a break. I really cannot afford to stop right now. I really cannot afford to prioritize myself. Are you telling yourself that you will allow yourself to take a break after you finish this major project, after you finish this big deadline, or when you have completed a certain goal? If you're having those conversations with yourself, lean in and let's have a conversation around why self first is a sustainable tool for you as a high performing leader. Hey, I'm Dr. Monique Flemings, and we're going to have this conversation on today because I partner with women leaders and particularly and organizations when they want to get their best performance without burnout and without overwhelm. But it comes through a particular principle that many people don't use, and that is the self first principle. Self first is different than self care. Self care is usually reactive, it is activities, and it is done in a response to something. Self care is wonderful, needed, and necessary, but often it will fail us because it's not enough to sustain us. Self first is integrated rest. Self first is a lifestyle. Self first is a mindset that embraces the fact that my boundaries matter first. Self first is not selfish. That's the first thing I want you to understand. Self first is not selfish. And sometimes, as women leaders, we have been fed this erroneous story that when we prioritize ourselves, when we place ourselves first, we're actually being selfish, when in reality, we are not. The ability to lead others really comes first with the ability to be able to lead yourself. And the first way to lead yourself is to make sure that you are prioritizing yourself, that you are setting what you need in place so that you can be able to pour into others and give to others. And that is through self first practice. Self first, once again, is not selfish, but it is a mentality. When I practice self first, I am telling myself that I matter first. I am also teaching and training other people how to handle me. I am setting boundaries. I am saying no. I am making sure that throughout my day, I have pockets of purposeful pause where I am stopping to make sure that I am okay. I am taking a few minutes to make sure that I am able to do what I need to do to pour into others. Let me share this quick story with you. I work with usually women leaders who are in a director's position, C suite. They are at the top of their game. And so, one of the things that I hear all the time is that many of them will push through the day. They will power through the day because they need to get these deadlines, done. They need to get projects completed, and they will make up for the time that they are not taking for themselves at the end of the day. Well, you know how that goes. You know that doesn't work, right? You know that doesn't work. Great intention, but let's be honest, we have all been there where we will skip a lunch to work on a project, to push through to get something done. And at the end of the day, it never happens. We've been there. And so when they come to me, we sit down and we do a time audit. That's the first thing we do. We really look at where their time is going because we have more time in the day than we realize. We conduct this time audit so we can begin to see really where your time is going. And it is amazing always to have this time audit to begin to see where we are actually spending their time. It's refreshing because when we do the time audit, I'm able to help them realign their time with their true goals and their boundaries. Because honestly, burnout does not come from doing too many things or doing lots of things. Listen, burnout comes when we are doing things that are not in alignment with our goals. Burnout comes when we're doing things that are not in alignment with our goals. That means we are helping people, we're working here, we're doing there, we're in too many places, and it does not really align with our goals. That's when burnout comes in. So the first thing we do is a time audit. We look at where their time is going. I would encourage you to do so as well. You don't have to, do a big one like we do, but just jot down, honestly, over the next couple of days, be honest with yourself for the next 48 hours. Write down where you are spending your time. Be honest with yourself. Begin to look at where you are spending your time. Okay. When you do that, then I want you to come back and look at how much of those times, those buckets of time, those pockets of time are actually spent on things that really matter to you. Now, there are things that you have to do, that are part of your job, part of your responsibility, your clients. And then there are things that need to be done, of course, for your family. But in all of that, I want to see where your time is for you. So when I do the time audit with my clients, it is a face-to-face wake-up call. They begin to see that they are actually allocating time where it doesn't align with their goals. And the other sad thing that we find out oftentimes is that they are not spending time for themselves. They have very little time on that schedule for themselves. They are taking care of everyone, their family, their grandchildren, the community, the people that they work for, the company, their clients. They're doing everything for everybody. The first thing we do after we have completed that audit and we take a deep breath is that we begin to integrate pockets of time and space for them. This is where the real breakthrough comes through. And many women cannot believe that we can use that same schedule that was overwhelmingly, with all the things that we're pulling from them. Now we can begin to integrate pockets of pause, pockets of rest time for them. What does that look like? Well, I'll share some really simple ones. It looks like this, especially if you are someone that works in an office setting and you are on all the time. It looks like putting a sign on your door for 15, 20 minutes, letting people know that you're not available as you take a lunch break and you turn your computer off. You're not answering emails. You're not on your phone. You may have some soft music on, but for 15 minutes, 20 minutes, you are eating your lunch and you are having some quiet time. You are listening to music. You are relaxing. You are calming your nervous system for 15, 20 minutes. That's what it looks like. It looks like also maybe stepping away from your desk and going for a walk around the building, walking outside, maybe just stretching your legs, 10 minutes of walk, stepping outside into nature, 10 minutes. That's what it looks like. Okay. We're talking about small pockets of time that will break up your day, but will begin to realign with what you need. Your body is craving this, your mind is craving this, and you'll be surprised how these small integrations of what I call purposeful pauses and rest will begin to help you begin to sustain your success as a high performing leader. So I'm giving you some tools here. So after you have done that, now you're going to begin to see the changes immediately within a few days of how your body feels, how relaxed you feel just by doing those small things. Many of my clients are amazed when they meet with me that we can do this work quickly and begin to shift and change. And what we're doing is we are rewiring their nervous system and actually rewiring their brain to recognize that these are things that we need and are necessary. Just like your brain knows when you need to eat. You receive a stimulus to say, I'm hungry. I need to eat. Well, actually, you're probably thirsty. That's a whole nother conversation. But we can do the same thing when it comes to rest as well. Your body will begin to get stimulated. Your brain will say, you need to get up from your desk. Your brain will say, hey, you need to go get some oxygen. You need to take a nature walk. You need to do something for yourself. Okay. A digital detox is always nice. I love those. And that is stepping away from the computer, especially if you are on the computer quite a bit. So when I share these steps with my clients, one of them did exactly what we put together for her. The first couple of days, it was not good. Let me tell you why. It wasn't good because she was uncomfortable. She was uncomfortable feeling like she needed to be on. We needed to deal with those issues. Why do we feel like we have to always be on? That's a whole nother lesson. But we talked about that. Why do you feel like you are the only one that can actually solve the problems of your team? Are you really building a team or are you raising children? Which one? Which one are we doing here? Okay, ladies, which one? And it was uncomfortable. And we had to sit in that moment and begin to look at why are we the one that has to always be putting out the fires? So after we took her firewoman suit away and we pulled her out of rescue mode, we put her in a place of leadership, which is actually serving people so that they can be their very best. Then she began to realize that she could not give them what they needed if she was not able to give herself what she needed. See, leadership is not about just a title or just telling people what to do. Leadership is really about modeling a lifestyle, modeling the best version of yourself so that others will model that as well. And that comes from you leading yourself first. And how do we lead ourselves first? We lead ourselves first by making sure that we are taking care of ourselves first. So self first looks like I am putting on that oxygen mask first before I try to rescue someone else. How many times do we hear that when we're flying and we go, yes, yes, we agree, but we don't do it. We are always trying to put out the fires. And let me tell you something, those fire lady suits that we've been wearing, women, we need to trade those in. We need to trade them in, give them to someone else. And in this season, recognize I'm not wearing those fire lady suits. So when we go into self first, so this is what we do. When we go into self first, now we are retraining ourselves to recognize that I matter. My boundaries are important. This is important to me. This is important to my body. And this is going to help me to be productive at a different level. It's going to help me bring a level of creativity and innovation that is needed and necessary for me to continue to be at that peak performance. It is going to allow me to continue to grow and evolve. It's going to help my team see how they can grow and evolve as well. And it's going to allow for more creativity and more innovation to come into our particular department. And so this is what I teach high achieving women, C-suite leaders, and organizations is how to integrate this, especially when you have your team that is a high performing team. So I've got a question for you today. Which one of these are you going to try? Let me know in the chat. Which one of these are you going to try? Let me know how that works for you, because as you begin to integrate these steps, you are going to begin to see a big change in how your body responds to stress. Oh, yeah, I didn't go there. How your body responds to stress. Now, people think about stress as being something that occurs when we are under pressure, and it is something that we are responding to because of a negative pressure. Not always. Our body responds to pressure, whether it's negative pressure or positive pressure, the same way. So you can have something positive happening to you, something great happening to you, and your stress levels go up. A promotion, it's a wonderful thing. Stress levels go up. A new team, it's exciting, but stress levels go up. You're adding someone to your team. It's a great thing, but stress levels go up. Do you understand where I'm going? So sometimes we only think stress is high when it is something negative that is impacting us or impacting our team, but great things, wonderful things happen to us and it causes our stress levels to go up. But if you have begun to put in these pockets of self first, you will be in place to handle new stressors with yourself and with your team from a place of grace. So let me know which one you're going to try. This is Dr. Monique Flemings, and thanks for hanging out with me again, understanding how that self first is not selfish. And as a leader, I want to lean into practicing self first. Make it a great day.